Hello everyone out there in YouTube land. My name is Will. This is Will of the Nerds, and we are back on Deck Stats with another deck tech video. And you can see my deck list is slowly starting to expand and get bigger. How many do we have here? We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 it looks like, and we're working on number 16. That does not seem right to me, but okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It is correct. Okay, I feel like I'm missing a deck, but I think I only recorded 3 videos the one day instead of 4 like I usually do. But we are going to jump in and do a new deck, and this one is called Artifact Control. Depends on how you want to take it. It might not be a complete control deck, but it is casual, like usual. And I think I might have played this deck at least once, so everything is kind of a little all over the place, so I will have to go through and organize everything. So let me pull all of the lands first, because, you know, that's what we do here. We go through all of the lands first. Easiest thing, that way you can get a basic idea of what mana you're going to need if you want to either use this deck or loosely base something on this deck. You would think a lot of the artifacts are colorless, but there is some colored artifacts in this deck, and there is some colored cards in this deck that you need specific mana for. So you just kind of go heavy with those colors, and then, you know, you more than likely will have them when you need them. So we're going to start out with islands, because that is what is on top. So we have 1, 2, 3, nope, 4, 5, and 6 islands. So 6 islands, sit them off to the side. There we go. Islands. 6, enter, and next the planes are up next. So we have 1 plane, 2, 3, 4, 5 planes. All right, 5 planes. That gives us 11 for our mana base right now, and then we have swamps. So this is a tricolor deck. I'm not sure what this tricolor is called. I can't remember off the top of my head. But right now we have 3 swamps, 4, and 5 swamps. Okay. We can go down here, go to swamps, 5, enter. That gives us 16. So it's usually 24 is what I play with, which means we have a play set of Azorius Guild Gates and a play set of Dimir Guild Gates. So let us do Azorius. IUS, Azorius Guild Gate, Guild Mage, Guild Gate. Let's just easier that way. It taps for blue and a white. These are from, they're all from Born of the Gods, Return to Ravnica. You didn't hear that? Return to Ravnica. These weren't in Born of, they were all Ravnica cards. Jesus fucking Christ, I'm an idiot. Yeah, they're all from Ravnica. I think all of these are from Ravnica sets. This is Gate Crash, I believe, is what this is. Dimir. Guild Gate. Dimir is probably my favorite color combination, to be honest. As you've probably seen, I think I might have 2 decks up that are Dimir or close to basically being Dimir colors. Is this Gate Crash? This is Gate Crash. All right. I was 1 for 2, so it's not terrible. All right. So we are going to go straight in. I'm going to actually separate these by color. That way it's a little easier to just kind of navigate. And I think we might just do the colorless ones first and save all the colored cards for after. Because there's obviously a reason there's colored mana in here, and some of those colored cards are more important. So we will save the the one most important card for last. Okay, so now we can try to find the first card that we have in here. Let's make sure. As you know, I do play a lot of 2-ofs. So obviously we have two artifacts. That's it. No, it's 2 Scuttling Doom Engines. And the reason there's 2, and the reason it's in here is because I had it. And I didn't have any other deck to put it in. So there you go. That's why it's in here. It can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. When it dies, it deals 6 damage to target opponent. So I mean, it can't be blocked by small stuff. So if you're playing somebody that has a token deck, it's not going to be blocked. And if somebody finds a way to kill it, it's just going to do 6 damage to their face. So, I mean, it has its usefulness, but in this deck, it could be taken out for something else. I just had it, and I didn't feel like spending more money on cards, or I just couldn't find a card that really fit in here. I mean, you could take that out and throw a counterspell in here, because you're obviously playing blue. So, counterspell would be fine, especially if it's artifact control. You might want to throw that in there. It's not like I say this is artifact control, but it's kind of not artifact control. It's a little control-y, but it's not control-y. I spelled that wrong. Chief of the Foundry. So let us grab 2 of these and click, and you are Kaladesh. And we will see what you do. I think it's +1/+1s. Other artifact creatures you control get a +1/+1. There you go. And I think every creature in here, except for maybe 1, is artifacts. I think the other one does something else. Kind of stupid and fuckery. So it is in there just to buff your artifacts. And the next thing we have is Foundry Inspector. And we can boop a boop. And it's Kaladesh 2, I believe. This gives you 1 less for your artifact spells. So, I mean, most of the artifact spells in here aren't much to begin with, but it's always nice to be able to play just a bunch of spells and trigger stuff off. Granted, I probably could do like a combo deck with artifacts, like throw something out and tap it and it does an ability and bounce something back to my hand and play it and do it for like a fuck ton of mana to get like a bunch of tokens or something per turn. But I just didn't see anything for it. So, you know, that's if you find something to do with it, cool. Like if you get that, let me know. I would like to see it. If you have an idea for that, let me know. I'd be more than happy to look at it. But at the same time, like I said, a lot of these cards I had, and I didn't really go and spend an ungodly amount of money. Like if I spend $200 on Magic cards, I better be getting at least 100 cards. Like that's just how I am with it. Like I don't really like spending a bunch of money on like 2 or 3 cards. I'd rather buy a bunch of cards and put them in a deck to where they can like function together. Okay, so we have Jory's Familiar. When it dies, does it do anything? Oh, no. Okay, I'm thinking of another one. Flying, historic spells cost 1 less to cast, so that counts as your artifacts. So you have basically 2 off. I've never had all 4 of them out at the same time. I've had one of this and then one of Foundry Inspectors out, so 2 off of your artifacts, which can get a little insane, especially if you have some like big artifacts or like I said, some combination or some combo to pull off. The next card we have, which you can definitely throw a couple of in here if you wanted to. It is Steel Overseer, and we have, they're both from M20, but one is foil and one is not. So we are going to do that. That way we can keep them separated. And you tap, put a +1/+1 counter on each artifact you control. So it buffs itself too. And the chances of, like, you could get that in your starting hand and play it by turn 2, or you can play it for free. And then it's just going to get all kinds of usefulness out of it. And that's why it's in there, to just buff your stuff even more. And why wouldn't you want to buff your artifacts? Especially when you see some of the other shenanigans that are going to be coming in. So there's a chance to play that for free. You're buffing your artifacts with 2 other cards as of right now. So basically what you're doing is you're buffing, you're taking off mana cost, Steel Overseer buffing, and then you have a big beastie creature that if it were to die, it's going to do 6 damage. So it's basically like a burn spell and a buff creature that some people are probably not going to destroy. They're probably either going to eat that damage or they're going to try to get rid of it a different way. But if unless they bounce back to your hand, if it goes to the graveyard, it's dying. Unless you're sacrificing it, I believe. So we have a Workshop Assistant next. I think almost a lot of these cards are from Kaladesh. And what do you do? When it dies, return another target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. So there you go. Somebody blows up that big important artifact you need, you're getting it back. And now we have, I believe this might actually end up doing just about the same thing. I want to say, we will see, because I don't know. It is called Scrap Trawler. Like I said, I have so many cards, I can't really keep them straight. This is also from Kaladesh, 8th Revolt. I was wrong. I was on the right block, but wrong set. All right, when this or another artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return to your hand target artifact card in your graveyard with lesser converted mana cost. I mean, it's nice. There's a chance that it's not going to work, obviously. You have a lot of, right now we have a lot of like 3 drops and 2 drops. So chances are it might only trigger a couple times a turn, but it is something that helps you get cards back. I think the reason they're in here and not more Workshop Assistants is because I probably got rid of my Workshop Assistants because I was like, I don't like playing artifacts. And then I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I like some of these cards. I'm going to try to make another artifact deck. So, and I do have another artifact deck too that I might have Workshop Assistants in, which might have been why I only had 2 left over. So it just gives you more graveyard play to pull some of your artifacts out. Next we have Adaptive Automaton, which I believe is a bit of an expensive card. They're both, is this Modern Horizon? Double Masters, okay. I couldn't remember the name of it. I thought it was one of those like special sets, but I couldn't remember which one. When it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. So probably Construct, which you have, because you have a lot of constructs in here. It is okay, so this is the chosen type in addition to its other type. So it's a construct. And other creatures you control of the chosen type get a +1/+1. So again, you're buffing your creatures. So, I mean, I think these are all constructs as of right now, except for the one that is a bird. Yeah, so you got all constructs in here. So everything but the one right now is getting buffed. What are you? How did you get in there? I found a card in my freaking my mic stand, just chilling out there. Good thing I found you, or else I'd be like, where the hell? So we'll just do that one next. Okay, so this one is Voltaic Servant. We have that. There's a space there, and we have 2 of them. This is from Dominaria. And what do you do? At the beginning of your end step, untap target artifact. So there you go. That works. You're tapping. That works with Steel Overseer. Oh boy. Yeah, so there you go. If you can get him out, you can tap Steel Overseer to your beginning, and then at the end of your turn, untap it, and then you can keep Steel Overseer up to block, and then before your opponent's end turn, you can tap it again to add more stuff. Or if you have a way to kill an opponent or kill a creature during your opponent's attack step, you can tap it and buff your artifacts even more. So there you go. That is nice. I'm okay with that one. Metallic Mimic. We have 2 of them. You are a shapeshifter, so you will not get the 1 buff from the 1 thing. Now if I can find it, there it is. Aether Revolt. What do you do? Wow, you're pretty expensive too. Choose a creature type. Okay, so you can choose construct, so it'll become a construct. Each other creature you control of the chosen type enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter. So I mean, if you have that in your starting hand, that's good, because then everything's gonna enter with a +1/+1 counter on it. So you're just, I might change the name of this to like artifact, like buffs or something like that, or buff artifacts. Okay, so now we have 2 of this. We have 2 Hedron Crawlers. And we're going to throw you over here. You are both from... Oh, is this Battle for Zendikar? Or is it Oath of the Gatewatch? There you are. Oath of the Gatewatch. What do you do? Add 1 mana. Tap. Add a colorless to your mana pool. This could probably be taken out. In all honesty, I would probably take it out for something else. Something that's going to buff your creatures at this point, or something that's going to take the mana cost off. Yeah. 0/1, you might as, for a 2-drop, it adds 1 mana, you might as well take Hedron Crawler out and put it somewhere else. That is a card you can probably live without in here, to be honest. I think there might be a couple other new artifacts I got that would be worth switching that card out for. Okay, so the next one we have is Crystalline. 2 L's, I believe. If I can hit the right one, Crystalline Crawler. They are both from the same set. They are from a Commander set. Commander 2016. I didn't know they were that old. Pretty expensive too. Enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each color of mana spent to cast it. So the most it's going to get is a +3/+3. Remove a +1/+1 counter from it. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Tap, put a +1/+1 counter on it. I mean, I think it's in here because I had it to get rid of it. I would probably switch this one out for another artifact if you have one that could fit better into the deck, in my opinion. Okay, so the next one we have Mirage Mirror, which I really like this card. It could fit into a few other decks, but it's in here just because it was artifacts and it started out as like a control deck, so maybe I would take some of those cards out and put in counter spells. That's probably what I'm going to end up doing, that, to be honest. This does what? 2, Mirage Mirror becomes a copy of target artifact, creature, enchantment, or land until end of turn. So that's anything on the battlefield. If you need an extra creature or enchantment or artifact to do something awesome, if your opponent has something that you want, guess what? That's what Mirage Mirror is going to become. And what's nice is it's till end of turn. You can do it on your opponent's turn. You can copy their big creature and trade blows. I think you would lose your Mirage Mirror, but your opponent would lose their creature also. But it's a nice thing to help control everything. Because if you copy your opponent's biggest spell, they might be less inclined to do something to you. So it's not going to like hurt you. All right, so next we have Creepy Doll. And if you know what this is, it's pretty cool. It's not the best. It's indestructible. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, flip a coin. If you win, destroy that creature. So that's why I like it. It's kind of, there's a chance there to control something, but I like it for that chance of destroying your opponent's creatures, because then you can just chump block with it. And especially since it's a construct, it's going to get all those buffs. So it's the chances of it eventually destroying the creature that attacks it anyway, it works out. So it kind of gets rid of that chance, because it's going to just destroy the creature regardless. All right, so now we have Corridor Monitor. Corridor Monitor. And we have 2 of them. Again, one of these is foil. So we are going to do this Throne of Eldraine is what it is. And there we go. And we can see what it does, if I can find it again. And what do you do? When it enters the battlefield, untap target artifact or creature you control. So it's basically going to untap anything that you control, which is nice. So it gives you a nice blocker till it gives you a nice blocker whenever it goes to your opponent's turn. And next we have Noxious Gearhulk. So this is where we're getting into like a lot of the bigger stuff that is part of the control stuff. If I can learn how to spell. Where are you? There you are. We have 2 of them. I thought I had one of these foil, but it must be one of the other Gearhulks that I have foil. And now we need to find it. It is Kaladesh. And we can see what it does. It has Menace, which means it has to be blocked by 2, or it can only be blocked by artifact creatures. It might be that second one. When it enters the battlefield, you may destroy another target creature. If a creature is destroyed this way, you gain life equal to its toughness. I like it because it destroys a creature and you gain life. So it's controlling your opponent's board a little bit. Granted, you can have a murder in there too. But like I said, there's some other cards in here that, and now that I go through and look, that you can get rid of them. You can throw murder in here and counterspell, and like the deck really wouldn't miss a beat on anything. The next card we have is Clever Imposter. It is a shapeshifter. I believe these are both from Dragon? Cons or Dragons? Cons of Tarkir. Let us look and see what it does. It enters the battlefield as a copy of any non-land permanent on the battlefield. So it's there to become a copy of something your opponent controls. That way you have, again, like something flying to protect. That's why it's in here, because there's like no protection from flying in here. So you need to copy opponent spells to protect you from their flying stuff. The last card we have, which is why it was a control deck, which it's kind of not really a control deck now that I look at it. It's Ether Sworn. No. Canonist. That's what it is. And, is that World Wake? I don't know. I don't remember what set that is. Shards of Alara. Okay. I don't really know the order sets too much. Each player who has played a non-artifact spell this turn can't play additional non-artifact spells. So there you go. That's why it's a control deck. It's made for you to play stuff and your opponents not to play stuff, because unless they're playing an artifact, they can't do anything. So like you're just playing a bunch of artifacts. Guess what? You can keep playing and your opponent can't put anything, and it's a 2-drop. She's not legendary, so I would maybe take something out and throw another one of her in here. Like there's a few cards in here that you can take out that you don't need. But we are going to save it, and we are going to hit OK. We're going to look. We have two artifacts, 34 creatures, but they're all artifact creatures. Go to the details. There is the mana distribution. A lot of 2-drops, a lot of 3-drops. I think, is a Mirage Mirror the most expensive? No, it is not. Metallic Mimics are the most expensive at $10 a piece, and it's coming out to $101, but it's going to be less than $100 because, again, don't pay this much for lands. You can get lands for free from just about anybody. And we'll look at the visual spoilers. There you go. That way you get a nice look at all of the lands, or all the lands and all the cards again. And then we can come to the starting hand. That's actually not terrible. Yeah, that's pretty good. I would play that, and then I would play your Metallic Mimic and have it come out as a construct. And now all of your creatures are going to come out with a +1/+1, which is fantastic. You can play your 3. This really doesn't help you right now. So Hedron Crawler, I guess, gets you an extra mana. I mean, why not? It's not going to hurt nothing. And at that point, I guess you could play Creepy Doll. That gives you a nice defense. Granted, it doesn't protect you from anything with flying. And then maybe at this point you could play Clever Impersonator. That way you can protect yourself from something that has flying. I mean, if you know your opponent's deck, then you're obviously going to save it for something bigger, but you might as well do it at that point. And we'll pretty much let it go there, because the rest of it's just giving you stuff +1/+1s and getting stuff from your graveyard, which you might not have anything that really helps you with that right now. We'll look at the probabilities there, and we'll let it go. So if you guys could please like, subscribe, share, hit that bell icon. That way you get notified every time I upload a new video. You can follow me over on Facebook and Twitter. The links to those are in the description. And with that, I'll see you guys on the next one.